All right, sorry about that. We just had another audio disconnection, and as far as we are connected again back on Twitch, hooray, small victories. But yeah, clearly something about Civ 5 is just not interacting well with our stream. And yeah,
Yeah, this is.
we got more time by
Yeah.
doing those extra things, but it didn't. The overall issue still came back up again. So
Yeah, this is.
this is just frustrating. It's frustrating, definitely. Very frustrating.
Yeah, very frustrating.
Yeah. Ah. And of course, I have to reconnect that thingy again. Please talk among you, Sasha, Mal, talk amongst yourselves while I reconnect everything that disconnected.
Yeah, I definitely think we're probably going to have to hardwire these computers to the modem when we get a chance.
Yep.
Yep.
So change our stream description to just chatting, and then we'll just have a little bit of a hangout, I guess.
All right.
Oh God, could you imagine this happening with Stellaris?
Oh.
Yeah, I suspect if Civ 5 is causing this issue, then yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
That's a good question, Moore.
Unfortunately.
I think we'll just hang out.
Yeah, at least for now. I mean, maybe we can bring back in maybe we can try going back to Tanto because we have successfully streamed that. That ran without issues. I can bring your models back in. Just give me a second to set that back up and you guys can rejoin. At least that way, at least we can at least see you. Instead of just me talking to the void.
Sure.
Help if I spell correctly. There we go. Oh, okay. That is very much our field right now.
Yep.
Okay, I'm copying the new link into the thingy. There you go. Oh, we got the same link as last time, so cool, works for me. I see you, Sasha. I'm just bringing you in.
Days we're gonna get these things right.
One of these days. Oh, Sasha, all I can see is your wing. Please come back. Please come slightly to the left.
What? How's that?
A little bit more. A little bit. Keep going to the left. There you go. Well, at least you're in the spot that you were in if we were doing Civ. I guess we could reconfigure if we wanted to. Sorry, what? Something happened, Mel?
My password was incorrect.
Did I do it wrong?
My password is incorrect. Refresh and try again.
There we go.
Alrighty. Yeah. Sasha, go back to the right a little bit, please.
Yeah, I just did.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm entering the correct password. It's just not accepting it.
Okay. Do you want me to make a room again?
No.
Okay.
Please understand that I am very close to just kind of.
I know.
Like.
Why are you apologizing, Ishmael?
Yeah.
I'm very confused on that. Sasha, more to the right, please. Or here, you know what?
Yeah.
I'll go more to the left.
Yeah, no, it's not your fault, Ishmael. We've been having technical issues since we started.
There. I tried to no, Ishmael. Seriously, that was break number 3 of 3. So
Our dark sorcery is laughing at us right now.
definitely, it's something's laughing at us. All right. Well, you know what? Actually, you know what? I'm gonna actually. Nope. If we're just chatting, I'm gonna make. Oop, I'm flying.
Yep. Well, you are a
Yes.
banshee, and
Oop,
banshees fly.
block. Okay, Sasha, make yourself bigger. But first, I'm
Okay.
blocking you right now. So the magic of internet. Okay. Well, not, wait. Okay.
Whoa,
Still too big. Or I'm too big.
gigantic.
Yeah. There we go. There we go. Now see. There we go. That's better.
All right.
Still just waiting on Mal now. Whenever he's able
Yep.
to sort out his thing.
So, what's new, everybody? How's it going in your world? Hopefully, less technical issues than ours.
Yes, definitely. Hopefully, less technical issues than what we're experiencing. Oh, okay. Looks like Mal did a little bit of a refresh, and we'll probably hopefully see
Oh
that now.
dear, I'm sorry to hear that more. That sucks.
Oh, geez. Like, I have to say, like, I did find it a bit heartening. Like, there was that collaboration stream between Nanners and Kiara, who like it's V Shoujo and Hololive, and my understanding is that stream had a little bit of technical issues too. And there was a part of me that's like obviously I prefer people be able to stream and not have technical issues, but there's a part of me that's like, well, if someone as successful as them has technical issues, it makes me feel better when our little corner of the world has some technical issues too, because it's like at least it's universal.
Hello?
Hey,
Hello.
welcome back, Mal.
Welcome back, Mal.
Yeah, my entire PC just shut itself.
Oh wow. Oh dear. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
This is just a curse. This is just a cursed stream. This whole thing just cursed.
Yep. Oh wow, you work in software more. Yeah, there'd be technical issues there. And yay, break from work for Ishmael. Breaks are good.
Yes, definitely. Yes. I have to say this does make me a little worried because our intention next week was to do Phasmophobia for our affiliate celebration. There's a little part of me that's like, oh no, like if Civ is causing everything to break.
Well, here's the thing though. I think Phasma is less probably resource intensive than Civilization.
You think?
Yeah, it's not as complicated a game, so it would use less resources. I mean, it's new, but it's not complicated.
Interesting. Well, definitely something we'll need to experiment with. We will need to experiment.
Yes.
But yes. Thank you for joining us on our should have been Civilization, but technology and dark magic says no, you don't get to do things that you want to do today. So we're gonna have to figure it out other ways.
Okay, I'm gonna try.
What are you gonna try, Mal?
Doing this. I'm gonna try doing the OBS Ninja.
Okay. Shh. Dark magic.
Dark magic.
It still doesn't want me to be a part of the stream.
Oh my goodness. Oh no.
Well, we could have you as a mysterious voice. That's okay.
Well, I mean, there's that. I mean.
Oh wow.
What's going on, Mal?
Huh?
You can't just say, "Oh wow," and then like not tell us anything. What's happening?
We just got followed by Monokaki Air on Twitter.
Who?
Who?
A Japanese VTuber with over 20,000 followers.
Oh, my
Wow.
goodness.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. Of all the nights to get a follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please don't come tonight. We're not prepared. We're not good at all. Don't look. Don't look at us. We're screwed. Quick.
It's just a
distract them.
follow.
Sorry, what?
It's just a follow. Relax.
I know.
We're
What is that?
fine.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Everything's
nobody-
fine. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Frayed Not. Yeah. Yeah. I think Frayed Not
Yeah.
is probably correct.
I mean, I want you guys all to be right, but we're experimenting next week. There shall be tests. That's a
Excellent.
dark,
Yes.
dark lab.
Because, yeah, we'll give it a shot.
You know what? I'm gonna here. That way, if we want to put up images or something, I can put it in the center and not be like there. I'll just drift over. That's me floating.
Oh, you want to know something funny?
Okay.
I didn't know that Monokaki was a big deal. They've been following me for a while.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Go figure.
I don't know anyone popular. That's okay.
Yeah. 6,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Oh wow,
Not bad.
Yeah.
that's a lot of people.
Yeah. I can't wait for Elizabeth to get hunted by a banshee.
Why would you think that would
The-
happen? Maybe it wouldn't happen. Maybe I would be
The
immune.
ultimate irony.
Maybe I'm immune.
Maybe
to
banshee immunity. Would
Yeah.
that be it?
I mean, they do focus on one person at a time.
So yeah, 1 in 4.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't have to be me. I could be immune.
Mm-hmm.
Given everything that's going on, you know what I might try for the next group stream
What do you want to
next
try?
Saturday is moving my entire PC out to the room with the modem in it and just hardwiring it.
Well, yeah, that might be an option.
Sounds
At the
valid.
very least, my connection should be better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it must have been partially my PC because I was also my computer is the broadcast computer. Shock and surprise. So clearly, if you had an issue, that may not have yeah, I don't know. Bleh.
Yeah. Get it, don't worry.
Okay. Clearly, something overall wasn't working, unfortunately. But yes. So can we ask you D&D spoiler questions now, Mal?
I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm under no obligation to answer them.
Oh, I see.
Oh yeah, we can ask.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I mean, I was thinking about that earlier today.
What about the D&D game?
Oh, just I was like, because I'm joining that crossover D&D game this Wednesday, right?
Okay.
And at one point, Emerald Storyteller, the guy who's running it, said to me, "Oh yeah, I want to do something with a lot of role playing in it, not like your stream, Mal." And I thought that was really interesting because I thought we did do a pretty good amount of role playing.
Mm-hmm.
But just thinking about it, and I was like, no, because I've been kind of setting up the situation and making the exploration and visiting this exotic location really central to the story. We haven't done a ton of role playing, definitely not to the degree that we're used to.
Yeah. No, I would agree. But I also find because because we're right now in the beginning. Like I find like at least, and I know like I think I've heard Flora say this before as well, is that I've tended to like for the first few streams I'm still kind of like figuring out like like the headspace of your character, and if that makes any sense. So like I think like a big like breakthrough I think for a bit was for my character was in session 3 where I was like this character wants to start like Wander wants to draw. She wants to draw what she's seeing. She wants to document this, and that's very much like okay, like I'm starting to kind of like hear her voice. I'm starting to kind of hear what I want to do, what I want to see with this character, which, if you ask me back in like the first session, tell me a bit about Wander or whatever, I would have been like, I wouldn't have brought up drawing or documentation at all. That isn't something that would have crossed my mind at that time.
Yeah, that's fair. Definitely, these things kind of evolve over time, and we sort of break in our characters and get used to sort of the vibe of the game. That's also a factor too. But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, I'm not going to cause a whole bunch of technical problems for this Wednesday. Like that would be
Sorry, Wednesday?
That'd be pretty terrible.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like, you're worried that whatever technical issues we're having today will carry over to Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I can't diagnose anything of what happened aside from we stopped playing Civ and the problem stopped mostly.
Yeah, really.
So far as I can tell, Civ is the problem, which I feel bad. I don't want to make Civ the problem.
But yeah, like in general, it's I hope that if that's the impression that we're giving off sometimes, I hope that we continue to improve.
Yeah, of course. I think it's also like I know Sasha is very much, and this isn't intended as any slight, but Sasha always needs a little time to come out of her shell. She's very like I think Sasha like interior like in her head she's got a lot going on, and I think that sometimes leads to like nothing coming out in the real world, because I know I can be that at times where it's like there's just so much going on in there, and then people are like, you're so quiet and like you seem so relaxed. It's like no, like there is so much shit going on in here that I just overloaded, and there's just nothing comes out as a result.
Yeah, sometimes. Not gonna lie, that's pretty accurate.
Elizabeth,
what?
Having so much anxiety going on that she can't act. I feel that. I feel that is true. Yeah. That is a truism about Elizabeth for sure.
Yes, very, very much. Well, I mean, it's like starting and doing anything is a challenge, and I think sometimes like the phrase "you're your own worst critic." You're going to be. I'm sure that I've come up with far more creative insults for myself than I've come up for anybody else. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to write them out or put them out here. You guys don't need that, and I don't need that. But yeah, I guess the idea is you know yourself the best, so you know how to push your own buttons the best. I mean, you kind of see it a bit that with family as well. Like, if I want to know how to hurt my sister, I know where to put. I know what buttons to push. I don't want to do that, but you know what I mean. Like, that familiarity gives an ease of opening, I guess, if that makes sense. If there's a vulnerability that if the person decides that they want to hurt you, even if the person is yourself, they're going to do it. They know how to do it.
Yeah. I think it's also a good thing to learn to be easier on yourself sometimes too. We are all our own worst critics, but sometimes what we say to ourselves isn't true as well.
No, that's definitely true. Yeah.
So it just becomes a balance of when do you make an honest mistake versus, when are you learning about things?
when is your head just being very, very mean?
Yeah. And that happens.
Yeah.
But you just got to push through it, hopefully learn for the better and keep going on.
Yeah. Like I find sometimes it's very good to talk to people. Like, and I know sometimes that's really hard, especially when you feel like like sometimes like especially if you get that feeling of like, oh, my friends don't like me, or like people don't like me, they must think I'm annoying, or things like that. And it's sometimes like the easiest way to get that mindset out is to voice that concern sometimes, which I know sometimes is because it has to be, scary to do it, even not to say scary, but like you worry about being too much of a bother or bringing that up too much. But sometimes like I know like sometimes like I kind of losing my thread here, but just that idea of having friends, basically being like, no, whatever you're thinking, that's what the voice in your head is telling you, but that's not real. We don't think those things.
Yeah.
Communication, the moral of today. Communication, or not, I don't know. Mal?
Communication.
I wasn't asking you to repeat me or anything. You just had gone very quiet.
Oh, wow. Yeah, sorry.
That's
You
okay.
know how I get when my mood starts to drop.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's just hard. It's just hard to be in a situation like this and not feel that we failed to some degree.
I mean, the hindsight here is that whenever we get a new game, we test it first. 100%. Like, I mean, you guys have owned Civ 5 for a while, and you guys have played online games with each other for a while, but like obviously the layer and the Twitch streaming is the new thing. You guys in the past when you played Civ games, I think at most maybe you streamed it to Discord when you were playing as a group, but you weren't streaming out to Twitch or anything like that. So I would say the big to do, like the big like things we can do to improve and whatever is whenever we get a new game that we're going to play on stream that's untested, we got to test it. We go into the dark lab, we do a dark experiment, we summon all the dark circles, and we test.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's how you learn.
Yep.
And when you learn, you get better. So just got to keep on our toes about this.
Like I would say for a lot of stuff like this, like maybe to some degree we are like maybe if you look at Twitch streaming 101, maybe there is a course like that. But I suspect like a lot of this is uncharted territory, and that's why you see a lot of like curse streams or things like that where it's we're just blindly feeling our way through this and just being like, what works, what doesn't work, we will find out the hard way live on the internet. Yeah.
It's an adventure. Some things work, some things don't, but that's the way life goes.
So I seem to recall we did do a test stream of we not test stream, but like we did that fake hand of Tanto, and yeah, we made sure it worked first before we streamed it, and that was
Yep.
we did the right thing the first time and
Yeah.
forgot about the right thing the second time.
I'm sorry.
No,
Nope.
there is no. I'm not aspiring or not aspiring. What the hell is that word? I'm not ascribing fault or anything like that. Just ways to improve. Yeah. I mean, if you want, I've got the PlayStation 1 hooked up to this computer. I could always just throw that something on that. We can all just look at the PS1 game together.
Sure.
That won't cause new
Everything,
bandwidth usage. That's just PlayStation.
everything but Shadow Madness is
Yes.
packed right now.
Oh yeah. I forgot. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna put more Shadow Madness in that. That's not. No one needs to see that right now.
I mean, I did test those games I've got in my queue. I could see if I could get those going, but that would require starting up some dark sorceries in my part of the cave.
Which games are you talking about?
Well, I've got Alien Isolation. We could all watch Sasha scream like a little girl.
But yeah, I see what you're saying, because yeah, like right now, unless you started. Oh, goodbye, Ishmael. Have a good work.
Bye, Ishmael. Thanks
You
for
do a great
dropping in.
job. Good for you. Hard work.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm trying to suggest things that I can do from my specific screen, I guess is the best way to put it.
We could watch videos.
Did you? Nah. We're just still. I don't want to say we're commiserating, but we're taking learnings. We're having a
Welcome back,
post-mortem,
Moore.
if you will. We're having
Yes.
a post-mortem about how to improve the Dungeon Lounge sorceries going forward, playing games.
Yes.
Yes. But yeah, I definitely think if based on our experience with Civ, unfortunately, I wonder, like, I think certainly, like, obviously you solo streaming Civ, or not Civ, Stellaris has not been an issue, Sasha, but it does make me worry that a group Stellaris game is, at least for the time being, until we figure this out better, excuse me, I could word today. That is, I think a group Stellaris game is off the table for the time being.
Oh, more Stellaris, less Ghostbusters.
Oh,
We have a
well.
request from Moore.
Well, that's your stream, Sasha. So it's up to you what you want to
Yeah.
do.
Sure, I could do more Stellaris. That's not a problem.
I mean, if you need incentive to do it other than more asking for it, which, as the member of the Dungeon Lounge with the first member of the Dungeon Lounge to get a fan, that's between you and him.
Yeah, I'm happy to do more Stellaris. That's not a problem.
But if you need incentive for it, remember that the main menu screen of that game got us copyright striked on YouTube.
What?
Yeah.
Stellaris?
No,
Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters theme music.
That's so stupid. Like, of all the things.
Yeah. Yeah,
of all the things.
You're very welcome, Moore. I will happily do more Stellaris. Like, that's not a problem.
Wasn't the Ghostbusters theme, like, wasn't that like a big copyright issue? Not a copyright issue, but like the guy who wrote the song, didn't he get like sued by like Huey Lewis or something?
I seem to recall something like that.
Yeah, like, because they were saying the Ghostbusters theme sounded too much like a Huey Lewis song, and then took him to court over it or something like that. It's a great theme. I'm not knocking it at all, but
oh yeah, I quite like it.
This would have been like years ago news, because I mean this would have been back when Ghostbusters came out in the mid 80s, I want to say. Is that when Ghostbusters came out? I don't know. I wasn't. Yeah, I'm not going to date myself too much here, but I did not see it during the original theatrical run. I can confirm that. Yeah, Huey Lewis in the News was from Huey Lewis in the News.
Ghostbusters came out in 84. Words, numbers, words, everything.
That's fair. I mean, to be like, Huey Lewis really made himself the face of the band, and to be fair, he's not the only band that's done that. I mean,
I remember Huey Lewis in the News because it was in one of my other favorite movies, American Psycho.
Oh, okay. Wasn't he also in Back to the Future? Or am I confusing that with another band? Mal, you'd know. You're the Back to the Future nerd of the group.
What did I do?
Huey Lewis. Didn't he do Huey Lewis and the News? Sorry, I'll get the full title. Didn't they do a song for Back to the Future?
The Back to the Future was... Yeah, that was Huey Lewis in the News. I'm just scrolling here. There's apparently a lot of songs called "The Power of Love," and I don't know how many of these are covers. Fuck, why is my brain not working today?
Clearly, nothing is working today. Civ 5's not working. The bandwidth's
Did we
not working.
change the stream title?
I did.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
I changed it to Curse Stream.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And I put it. I recategorized us to just chatting, but the page itself may not have refreshed depending on, because I know like the internet's weird. Sometimes things don't refresh when they're supposed to.
No, I refreshed my screen and it says Cursed Stream. So
yeah,
that's
Cursed
good.
Stream.
Definitely is a cursed stream.
Talking about copyright fights and things of that nature.
Okay.
Apparently, an artist called Jennifer Rush did a song called "The Power of Love" that released in 1984.
Okay.
And then so Back to the Future comes out in 1985, right? And apparently there was a whole thing about, like, the two songs are named the exact same thing, coming out a year apart.
Yeah, so I'm assuming they don't sound at all alike, though, right?
Oh, I have no idea. I've never heard about the other one.
Fair enough. I mean, I'm not about to start playing it because last thing we need is last thing on top of everything else. Last thing we need is a Twitch DMCA strike for copyright violation. So yeah, we'll just not touch that hornet's nest at all.
Yeah, for real. So, what do you think you're going to play next after Shadow Madness there, Elizabeth?
I was thinking of maybe putting out like a Twitter poll for it because there's a few games that I'm kind of thinking about. Like there was the one we talked about before, The Legend of Dragoon, which is another fairly obscure game. Or not obscure, but not as like it's one of those things like where you say, "Oh, Legend of Dragoon," and like someone's like, "Oh yeah, that was a game that existed." If it was something that they played during the PS1 era. Another one I was thinking about was Breath of Fire 4, which is just of the PlayStation era Breath of Fires, it's my preferred one, which I know is a slightly controversial opinion because Breath of Fire 3 is considered the stronger game, I think mechanically or like engine speaking, but I prefer 4. Just I found elements of the story of 3 just kind of anyways. And also I was thinking about, I think it's called Okage the Shadow King, which is a PlayStation 2 game. It's not a PlayStation 1, but still falls in the obscure category. That one is about a boy who is sacrificed to be the host for a Shadow King who possesses his shadow, and then the shadow starts bullying him to do things like take over the world. But you know, with JRPG battle mechanics. And
I really do want to see you play that, but also I'm stealing the PS2 for like a solid 3 months, so
that's no fair.
I want to play all the Fatal Frames. Do a Fatal Frame retrospective.
Fair enough. I'm sure we can. I'm sure we are nice monsters and denizens of the lounge. I'm sure we can figure out an appropriate arrangement to not whatever. But yeah. I remember the last time I played Shadow King, there was a warrior who was like super like very very like the term is tsundere. It's the only way I know how to describe that term. But she's always going around with this beautiful pink parasol, and it's like a big. It's not a big spoiler, but it's like an early on in the thing in the game. Her umbrella gets knocked away, and then you see her shadow is hot pink. And you find out the reason she's been chasing after the protagonist, or specifically the shadow the Shadow King living in the protagonist's shadow, is because at some point, when he was, prior to possessing this boy, he cursed her to have a pink shadow, and she's chasing after him because she wants her shadow turned back to a normal color. Because she's like, I'm a fearsome warrior and my shadow's hot pink. What have you done to me?
That always ticks me off about the internet.
What about the internet? What did it do? Just the whole
Oh
being
well, I went to
miserable?
look. I went to look up Okage Shadow King
Oh yeah.
online, and we're having all these problems, but every ad is
Oh yes.
streaming perfectly onto my
Yes.
browser.
Good to know the inner tubes are properly prioritizing the important things like advertisements.
Mhm.
Or all the like you mentioned to someone, I'm thinking about fried chicken, and then like your next week all the ads you get are like, have you heard of Popeyes? How about churches? How about also this mom and pop chicken place that's 5 minutes from your door? And it's like, thanks for being creepy, internet. Thanks for that, I appreciate it. Good to know you're listening at all times.
Oh yeah.
So Sasha,
Yes.
if you like, obviously you're going to be continuing with Stellaris for the time being, no qualms there, but if you were to like, if there was what is there any other like strategy games other than Stellaris you'd be interested in? I mean, clearly not Civ 5. We've already learned our lesson with Civ 5, but are there any other games like that you play?
Uh, well, mm, I would have to take a look at my game library and get back to you on that, I think.
Okay, no, that's fair.
Um, yeah, I have several games that I haven't really looked over yet, so
No, that's fair. I know at this point a lot of people's Steam libraries are basically completely unwieldy based on the like all these like different sales or whatever for games, and you have like, oh, I have 600 games on my Steam list. I'm never gonna play them all.
Well, that's
yeah.
actually something that I was thinking of the other night.
Mm-hmm.
Is that if there's any greater sign that people work too hard, it's these huge Steam libraries of when you buy games that you're excited about in the moment, but then never have time to play them.
Sasha, we lost you.
Mm-hmm.
You
Hello?
discorporeated. Yeah.
Oh, what? Uh,
Did you close? Oh, yeah, you just dropped out. Everyone drops out on me.
Cursed
Want to make
stream
sure.
is cursed.
Cursed stream is
cursed.
cursed.
Let's see. Come on.
Oh, good. I thought I heard for a second, I thought I heard thunder where I am right now. And it's like, oh no, on top of this, are we going to have like power outages or whatever? But then I realized after, oh, there you go, you're back. Um,
Yeah.
was, it was actually a motorcycle revving up. So it's like, that's fine.
Oh,
That's fine. I can hear the reverberations of a motorcycle as long as it's not thunder. Last thing we need is that on top of everything else. I mean, it would be a very good way to cap off the curse stream. Just a complete like, congratulations, you're all disconnected. Power outage. The Dungeon Lounge has lost power. I mean, I'd like to think we have backups and redundancies, but no, we don't. It's hard to run Ryers down underground.
yay, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Thank you. I do have Jurassic World Evolution, which I haven't tested yet, so I'd have
Okay.
to test that it would work with our dark sorceries, but
Is that a
if it
strategy game?
does, yeah, basically recreating Jurassic Park and new parks, like
So
new
it's like
parks on the
Roller Coaster Tycoon, but
yeah,
Jurassic themed.
yes.
Okay.
I also have Railway Empire, which I'd also have to test for dark sorcery.
Yes.
Uh, but
Everything gets tested now. Test, test,
yes,
test.
but that's also a strategy resource management type game.
Okay.
Um, uh,
I have to admit
I
that's
mean,
one oh sorry, go ahead.
oh no, go ahead.
I was say I have to admit that's one genre that like I never really ever got anywhere near. Like I think the closest I've been is like like a tactical RPG, but even then like I hated them and I got sad, so I stopped playing them.
Yeah, I've got several games in my Epic Games library that I would have to test that do
Yeah.
seem like they're strategy type games, but games that I haven't played personally, so I
Mm,
couldn't tell you directly, but I've seen other people play some of them and
okay.
they look
Okay.
pretty neat. Like let's see. Yeah, there's a game called Shadowrun Hong Kong.
Oh, wait, you played that, didn't you, Mel?
I was one of the backers for the first Shadowrun game
Ah, okay. Okay.
way back in the day.
Okay, yeah. So I also Shadowrun Returns and Shadowrun Dragonfall Director's Cut. So
Mm,
theoretically, like I watched one of my friends play that, and
yeah.
it seems
Shadow.
like a game that would work with our dark sorceries?
Yeah.
Question mark.
Yeah, Shadowrun is a setting that I've always found very interesting. Um, I know Mal has run way, way back in the day. He ran a game for the tabletop that we played, and from what I've seen of the video game, like it's interesting. Like it's tactical, but it's a little like it's more smaller scale, I guess. Like you're not moving armies or space-faring fleets or anything like that. It's just like a group of like 5 people, right? Like you're the runners, I guess, for lack of a better term, or not lack of a better term. That's what they're
Yeah.
called. They're called runners.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. I mean, I'd certainly be willing to test it out. Maybe see what other games
Mm,
that would be similar, at least in concepts, to Stellaris.
yeah.
I'll see if Jurassic World would would work with our dark sorceries.
I have to admit that that sounds like as soon as you said it, it's like, yeah, why didn't that exist sooner? Aside from maybe like technological limitations, because it's like that makes perfect sense. Yeah, like
Yeah, yeah.
make you've got all these movies where trying to make a Jurassic Park has failed. You know what? Make it a game. People can succeed on it. Build proper electrical fences and redundancy so that way the parks don't go to shit every time. I mean, it
Yeah,
makes for a less interesting movie when an amusement park works entirely properly, but
I did watch a playthrough of it when it first came out, and the game was a very interesting watch.
oh yeah, okay.
So I mean, given that everyone plays it completely differently, I hope I would provide an interesting watch as well.
Yeah, I can see that. Because it's definitely one of those things where, like, I'm assuming unless they force you to build it a certain way, like, you can build it however you want. Like, you could just be like, here's a T-Rex. Here's a line to the T-Rex. That is the
Well,
park.
they do have a certain progression you need to follow, but you
Okay.
do have a certain amount of leniency as well, so you can kind of do what you want within a certain framework.
Okay. Okay. So before you make the T-Rex
So
exhibit,
yeah,
you have to make the Brontosaurus exhibit, or is it like you have to have
uh,
bathrooms before you can
you start
open your park?
you start with smaller animals, and you require certain buildings, and then you have to get research and evolutions going, and genetic research and fossil hunting teams you have to send out into the world. And
I mean, I'll be blunt. No one goes to Jurassic World to see, you know, Brontosauruses. They want T-Rexes.
I'm not gonna lie, I would go see all of the dinosaurs, but
Okay.
uh, I'm a diehard Jurassic Park fan, Griffin. So I would see all of the dinosaurs all of the time. And it really boggled my mind when I watched Jurassic World, and uh and Claire was like, "Oh, I don't people don't like the boring dinosaurs." I'm like, "Excuse you. Give me the good old classic T-Rex and Velociraptor any day of the week. I'll see them
Yeah.
and I'll
My
watch them."
reply to that would 100% be show me a boring dinosaur then.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I think the idea was that there was that, like the scale of escalation was more like, yeah, like T-Rex was a big draw when the park just first came out, but after a while everyone's like, well, I saw the T-Rex. I'm not going to go see it again. I enjoyed it, but I'm not going
Hmm.
to, annually go to the park to see T-Rex every single time. It's kind of like most amusement parks. There's a power creep, right? You got to go for more thrilling roller
Well,
coasters. You got to go for more crazy snackies.
I think it's a case of yes and no because you know, I um You know how in museums there's always that one person who's sitting on a bench in front of that one thing that they're sketching in their art book, and they
Okay.
come back every day to do it because it's a project, and they're doing it for the love and everything.
Hmm.
I would be the one person who comes and sketches a T-Rex.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Like, I guess what I
or a
mean to say is, I think you
velociraptor.
are the outlier, Sasha. I don't think you are who Jurassic World builds its amusement park model around. Like,
Yeah,
we're,
no.
because I mean, like, yeah, there's a whole crowd of people that go to Disney like annually, and they'll go regardless. They don't care what's happening at the park as long as the park is open, right?
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
you've got some people who are only going to
I,
go
I
if there's a new attraction.
I'd be too broke to go anyway.
Well, yeah,
Flight to Costa Rica, boat fee, hotel fee, food. Yeah, that's not happening.
oh my goodness, yes. Like, I honestly, yeah. Like that's the big thing whenever I hear about like these like traveling like annual amusement park trips. It's like those things aren't cheap. Like, I mean, good on you if you've got the money, but where are you getting the money? Tell me. I mean, I know we've got a big treasure pile, but I mean, gold is only so convertible to actual currency to buy things.
I leave that conversion to Flora.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just happy to train my troops and help with administration. How is your feral beast doing?
She's underfoot. I don't mean that negatively, just she's an elder feral beast, and she likes to remind me constantly that her life is very, very hard.
Oh no,
And she's
it
getting
is
like,
hard.
oh, sorry, I was just gonna say, I find like as she's getting older, she's also like, she wants attention, but on her terms, and she doesn't want to be alone, but don't touch her.
That sounds like a feral beast.
Yeah. A couple times, like she'd sit up next to me and like roll over and be like, "Look at my cute, adorable feral beast belly," and then it's like, "Okay, sure, I'll pet you." And she's like, "No, don't touch me. Just look at it. Admire only. Aren't I majestic?"
That's way too cute.
So Mal, if you stop playing Magic, what else would you play instead?
Well, like I said, I want to do the Fatal
Yeah,
Frame series playthrough
you
to
did
get
say that.
ready for Maiden of Blackwater. The
I'm
other
so
thing I was thinking of doing. Oh, I'm glad you're excited for it. The other thing I'm thinking of doing is doing a Vanillaware
Oh,
series,
okay.
Mhm.
So,
like doing Grim Grimoire, then Odin Sphere, then uh, is it Masamune or Murasame?
I think it's
Masamune, I think.
yeah, I can't recall. So, quick question: did Grim Grimoire, did it come out before or after Odin Sphere? I thought Odin Sphere was the first game that they got, at least a North American release for, right?
Let's see. Their first game was Grim Grimoire,
Oh, okay. I'm wrong then.
then Odin Sphere,
Yep.
then something called Kumatanchi, which is
I
exclusive to Japan.
Yeah, I would say I don't think that came out here.
Muramasa the Demon Blade.
Hmm.
Um,
And Dragon's Crown,
then
right?
something called Grand Knight's History, but
Oh.
that's on the PSP.
Oh.
So
No one played that.
I don't know if that would be possible to stream.
Yeah, that too.
But yeah, just doing the big five: Grimoire, Odin Sphere, Muramasa, Dragon's Crown, and then 13 Sentinels.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I started 13 Sentinel and I got distracted and didn't finish, which is Most video games I play. At least lately it feels
they
like.
also their first game ever was an MMO.
Oh, wow, ambitious.
Oh.
Which MMO?
called
Or did it never get released
Fantasy
here?
Earth. No, it did
Oh, okay.
in 2010.
Oh.
Square Enix published it.
Okay, okay. Excuse me.
It was a free-to-play MMO.
Oh. So it was the DLC then? Or not DLC. I guess with MMOs it's more like cosmetics or just armor. Microtransactions. That's the word. I'll get there. My brain will get there eventually.
Yeah, probably.
Have to admit, like I think I only ever played one MMO, and it was the Shin Megami Tensei one that I tried. I tried it for all of 2 days and then never played it again. Was there ever any MMOs you tried?
eBay?
What? Sorry, did I cut? I didn't hear you saying anything for a bit, Mal. Did you say something?
I said eBay.
Oh, eBay. What are you looking up for?
Grand Knights History.
No shopping during streaming.
But it's only $22.
Well, you can look at it when stream is over, but don't be buying things during stream.
Oh, Mal. If it's for the stream, he's doing work.
But yeah.
Well, I mean.
Oh, was the North American translation also canceled?
What?
Because all that I'm seeing is of Grand Knight's History. Jeez.
I'm sorry.
Pay attention.
No. Do what I want.
Yeah, okay. So there was ambiguous wording. Apparently, it was only ever Japanese.
So I don't think
so I'm off the hook. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, you could learn Japanese. I'm not saying you can't, but I think in the time available to you to learn Japanese to play this game, I think it's a little unreasonable.
I'm a very busy lich.
Yes, you are.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's only 5 English Vanillaware games, the ones I mentioned.
Yeah, so Grim Grimoire, Odin Sphere, Muramasa, Dragon's Crown, Sentinel 13.
13 Sentinels.
13 Sentinels.
Jeez.
Sorry.
Jeez.
I'm so sorry. I've inverted the order. Clearly, I must turn in my gamer card and then commit ritual seppuku for my transgressions. Will you be my second, Mal?
No.
No?
I do not support this course of action.
All right, then fine. I'll just live with my shame, like I usually do. And I've created an awkward silence. Go me, go! Hey.
No, I'm just looking is that apparently the team that went on to found Vanillaware did a fighting game for the Sega Saturn that's all about princesses fighting each other.
What? Why would princesses fight each other?
Apparently they do.
Interesting.
Excuse me?
Anyway.
Yep. You okay?
Sorry, I'm just... Yeah, I think I'm still in the fog from yesterday.
No, that's all right.
I was feeling better earlier today, but...
Yeah, no.
And then this whole situation didn't help.
Oh, of course not. This has definitely been, as we have titled it, so the curse stream, it shall live in infamy, or what have you. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I can totally just delete the VOD afterwards if we want, or, we can. We just leave it as evidence of our attempt. Who knows? I don't care.
Yeah, we can leave it up.
Yeah, for posterity.
Our illustrious history, our humble beginnings, where we can't even get Civ 5 to
Exactly.
run. Can't even run a group game of Civ
Exactly.
5.
When we get big and famous worldwide, we'll be able to look back at this and LOL.
I'll probably just like, it's one of those things, like, even like where like you feel like you've come so far, but then like your brain is still like, don't look at it, don't look at past me, I hate past me. Ah.
Well, just think of it this way. It's a sign of your progression.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's like anything like that where it's like, if you're super proud, or like you have a drawing or something that, you're like, you know what, it's the best I can do right now, or what have you, but then you come back to it 5 years later and you're like, what was I even doing? Oh, thank you, Licky Block.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
very nice of you to say.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, very sweet.
I mean, I understand, like, it's not necessarily an indication that past you was awful, but like you kind of it's like anything, like it's easy to cringe at past you, I think is the best way to put it. Especially when you have
Yeah.
like knowledge and experience where it's like, why would I do this? Oh God.
Yeah, I cringe at my past Griffin self every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, it just means I'm better than I was before.
Yeah, and I think to some degree, like, I think I would rather be the type of person that can look back and have that cringe, because I know, like, there's like, I don't say it's an indicator of personality, but like there's some people who look back and they're like, I'm awesome 24/7. Like there's no self-reflection or no like self-awareness. And I think that person maybe is very self-assured, and that's a really good trait to have. I'm not going to argue that, but sometimes not being able to view things critically is important, or it's a skill worth having, to be able to kind of like critically go back and like, yes, this was good, or no, this was bad, but this is where I can improve. This is where I can learn.
Mm-hmm.
Mal?
Ah,
Ah,
I'm sorry.
no, that's
I don't
okay.
know what else to say. Maybe I should just go.
No, you can stay. I think you
Oh,
should stay.
stay. Yeah,
Keep us
you're awesome.
company.
Yeah,
Mm,
we like you. You're Lord Mal.
I know. I know you like me.
Besides, what happens if Stark comes and you're not here? He'll be sad. Maybe. I don't
Yeah.
Mm,
I mean, you are OTP.
know.
I will ship you forever.
Or at least until she finds a new one. But for now, forever is good.
Yeah. I like OTPs. They make me happy.
Now,
Especially
question.
when, yeah?
You're a Loki fangirl, if I recall correctly. Or rather,
Yes.
do you ship Loki with anyone?
Aside from myself, you mean?
Yes. Within the MCU. How about that? Within the MCU. Or maybe like other fandoms. I guess I shouldn't necessarily limit you too much.
Uh, well, within the MCU, the only one that comes to mind potentially is Valkyrie.
Oh, interesting.
But outside of that, nothing else. No, nobody else really. I mean, I know canon Loki outside of the MCU, like the actual Loki, had many relationships. So those are all canon, obviously. But within the MCU, mostly just Loki and Valkyrie. I can't really think of anybody else he'd be good with.
Like, I know, like, the popular one is him and Thor, which
Ugh, that is wrong for so many reasons.
I'm guessing because of the familiar relationship.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's
Oh.
fair.
Oh God. Why?
I'm sorry.
No, nothing for you to apologize for. That's just an oh God, why? Oh dear.
Oh, I mean, technically they're not blood related. They just were raised together.
Yeah, but exactly. Exactly. What's going on here?
I'm not arguing the point. I'm just saying. I guess it sounds like a bit like I'm arguing the point. I don't mean to. I apologize.
Whatever people are smoking, it must be strong.
I wouldn't say that.
You know, if it makes people happy, I guess, but ew. To me.
I mean, to be fair, it's not like I'm not like a. I think the time of me engaging with like fandom, like in terms of like fan fiction or pairings, I think I've passed that. I don't want to say stage because I wouldn't. I don't want to characterize it as such, but I think the point at which I'm like, this is my ship and I shall die for it. Like I think I'm done with that part of my life.
It's funny, when I was a younger Griffin, I was actually opposed to many of the popular OTPs and the fandoms I was in.
Oh.
And I suppose that's why I've always been closer to the canon relationships, although there's at least one I can think of, which I won't mention here just to avoid any potential controversy, but that there's one OTP that started off as a fan OTP and unfortunately became a show OTP. And I was really turned off by that, let me tell you. Although apparently a lot of people were happy with it, but nah. You can't see it now, but I'm sticking out my tongue at them.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
Do you?
Does it start with an X?
That's one of them.
Yeah.
There's another one too.
Okay. Well, fair enough.
Yeah. Both of those cause explosive anger in me, so I won't get into it, but
oh, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, let's just say I haven't really, after I sort of became almost anti-OTP in many respects, I kind of gave up on fandom just because I just couldn't deal with it. But I am of the opinion that if it makes you happy and it's not harming anybody, then more power to you.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, that's like I think that's a good mindset to have, is just more or less like, yeah, people are gonna have different opinions, and as long as it isn't harmful, then yeah, sure, you do you.
Yep. I have my personal opinions, but they're just that, my personal opinions.
Woo.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like the last series where like I saw something and I was like, those two people need to be together, and like I'd be like, I will die for this ship. And it's like, I think the last time I've done that was actually like in a tabletop RPG game where it was like, I have these two characters need to be together, and that's like, and like sometimes it's like it's just like NPCs where I'm just like, these two NPCs need to be together. But, like I know our Exalted game was bad for that.
Bad? You mean good?
Yes, good, great, awesome. So many ships.
Good, bad?
Yeah.
Bad, good? I don't know.
I'm sure it infuriated Mal to no end. He's just like, oh dang it, now they're attached to this NPC too. Add them to the grand list of NPCs. They've been attached to a random townsperson again.
I didn't mind that.
Okay.
Like, I really don't like games where it ends up like the shopkeeper is just the shopkeeper sort of situation.
Fair enough, yeah. So, I guess a bit on that tangent, Mal, is there a game that you've run for us where we've gotten attached to an NPC that really surprised you? Like, it kind of came out of left field that they're like, oh, that one?
take me a second because I've run so many games for you guys.
That's fair. That's fair. Because and I could be misreading, but I seem to recall that demon that Flora's character played, or not, sorry, that she summoned, and then she got attached. We all ended up getting attached to the demon that she summoned. That was supposed to be like a throwaway, like cannon fodder demon that happened to survive.
You know, the deal with blood apes is that they're in Exalted is that their fur is red because they bathe in blood.
I know, but he's
But then
still
you guys are like, oh yeah, this is our demon friend. He gave him a Hawaiian shirt and sunglasses.
Well, I mean, clearly he wasn't killing people anymore, as far as we knew. I mean, this is where you're gonna tell us deep dark secret? Demon was actually killing mass amounts of citizens while we weren't looking?
You only answer your question, don't you?
Is it not an answer I'm gonna like?
I'm just thinking, okay?
Okay.
So I'm trying to think back. What games have I run for you guys lately?
Okay.
So right now I'm doing Dungeons and Dragons.
Yep.
Previous to that was Dark Heresy.
Yes.
And actually, I was disappointed in Dark Heresy that nobody seemed particularly attached to any of the NPCs.
The orc towards the end got a lot of attention.
Because everybody hated him.
No, not everybody.
I liked him.
Abel liked him.
And then before that was Exalted.
Yes.
Correct?
I believe so. There might have been a couple one-shots in between there, but...
Oh yeah, like there was one time I ran Maids.
Yeah.
But, or the Maid RPG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was Exalted, and I don't remember too many situations in there that were super surprising because, like, I don't know, like there was plenty of characters that I was introducing to the game. And that's part of it, I think, is that, like, I give you guys enough toys to play with in that regard.
Okay.
That, that you generally don't need to go looking for them and glom onto, like, weird characters or whatever.
Fair enough. Yeah, like I remember when you ran the tournament art of Exalted, like we were just like spoiled for choice by that point.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I do remember our friend that played Val.
Yes.
I thought it was interesting that because like her whole thing was that she was fighting against slavery in the setting.
Yes, which has slavery as, I don't want to say as a feature of the setting, but like it's very much like it's considered commonly accepted. Slavery is a thing. You can oppose it. That's not say, but it's like part of the systematic structure of that Exalted world. Like,
yeah. And I think it's there for people to fight against it. Like, that's the reason for its inclusion.
Fair enough, yeah. Because I mean, I know part of the thing with Exalted is like big heroics. So yeah, here you go. Go to defeat slavery.
And there was the one time that there was the guy who inherited his father's slavery business.
Yes.
And was like, no, actually, I want to run a vineyard. That sounds like a good time to me. I don't want anything to do with any of this. So, and the way that Val sort of clung on to this guy and was like really invested in him, what happened to him after she convinced him to just free all the slaves over was that was interesting to me.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, before Exalted, I believe was the vampire game, which I think that was before you joined, right, Sasha?
The
No, wasn't she
Um,
played a
no,
Tremere?
Oh yeah,
yeah,
you're right. No, my apologies. My apologies. You're
I
right.
was Flora's character's manager.
Um,
Or am I
you think you're thinking of
the
a
Sabat? The Sabat
that's a different
game?
Yeah,
vampire game.
yeah.
Oh,
We're
okay.
talking about the one that I ran set in Atlantic City.
The one with
Oh, that one. Yeah, I was
yeah.
the gunsmith.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
That was a fun game.
Was there any NPCs from that one that you were surprised that we took a liking to, Mal?
I don't recall you guys taking a liking to any NPCs in particular in that game.
Yeah. No, my character ended up hating a lot of people in that setting. She
Yeah.
just got
Oh
mad at
yeah,
people.
and like that's something I've had to come to accept is that like these really negative energy settings is that I'm just not good at running.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Listen, I don't particularly like myself right now, and I'm not interested in going over how much you guys think that's wrong.
Oh, fair enough.
Sorry.
I will
I'm
say
not in
I
a
thought the
good
vampire
headspace
game
for
was
that.
very good. But I understand like I find like with vampire or games like that where there's a high amount of politics and especially like where all interactions like you can have positive interactions, but over time, I don't say it's more likely that you're going to have negative interactions, but like with politics, there's going to be points at which characters that have differences of opinion, those political differences will make things worse over time, I guess if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like we can all get along now if we have like a common goal, like fighting the Sabbat or something like that, but when that all calms down at the end of the day, these people want freedom and these people want to rule, and those two things are not going to cohabit nicely over time. It's just going to get worse and worse.
Mm-hmm. Sorry that I'm on big mental illness hours.
Oh
No,
it's okay.
no.
It's okay. No worries.
Yeah, no worries.
At the very least, it's nice going down memory lane, being like, "Oh yeah, we had a vampire game."
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. Though I think I'm trying to think before vampire. What was it? Was it werewolf before vampire?
That I was running?
Yeah.
No. Like at one point, I tried to run Shadowrun.
Yep.
At one point, I ran a Song of Ice and Fire RPG.
Yes. Oh yes.
I
That
can't.
one.
I can't even look at my game books right now and tell you because everything's packed up for the dungeon rearrangement.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
Oh, hello.
Oh, you being visited?
Oh,
Yes, my familiar is here staring at me.
Familiar.
aw, familiar.
And yeah, just like I've run a lot of games. So
No, that's true. Like, I think as a group, we've been gaming together for, oh man, like at least, what, at least 6 years, even more, I would say, right? Like, maybe more, like, are we at 10? Have we hit 10?
we hit 10 a while ago.
Oh, we did? Oh no. We did commemorate. Get a statue. 10 years.
Because like I'm thinking about it, we've been living in this dungeon for 6 years.
Yep.
The previous dungeon for 4,
Yes.
and the dungeon before that for 2.
I think
So we are at 11 or 12 years because this particular gaming group got together when we were living at that place.
Wow.
I remember that.
That's just it blows my mind. Like, wow.
Well, remember, like, we've been gaming with our friend whose name starts with B since pretty much I met him.
Yeah.
Like, we were going to that one werewolf LARP, right? And he and I had our Facebook friendiversary in 2019 sometime.
Oh wow.
For 10 years. So yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. Wow. Just. Whew.
Sorry.
No. It's just
No.
it's one of those things like it doesn't hit me until like I actually like sit down as you said and like kind of like you start doing the math and it's like, oh wait, no, this has been like we might actually be coming up on 15 years at this point.
No.
No?
No.
Like not I don't mean like I don't mean this year, but I mean like sooner rather than later, right?
Well, if 3 years from now is soon, sure. But that's still 3 whole years, which is not a short amount of time.
No, of course not. All right, so aside from reminiscing about how old we are,
I'm 600 years old.
My age is whatever I say it is, and I don't want to tell you what it is. That's fine.
I'll just leave my age vague and undescribed.
Well, you're a mythical griffin. You get to be whatever age you want.
Exactly. So
technically,
yeah.
like as far as I know, like unless you're gonna tell me different, like technically you appearing as you are now, like that's not even really you. You're actually like a majestic lion bird thing, right?
Well, yeah, but you know, how else am I gonna do this stream?
Well, no,
If I'm,
I understand you're doing it for practical purposes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'd love to stretch my wings, but would be nice.
Keep the hat though. I am curious. Do you keep the hat when you're back in your true form?
Always.
Ah, okay.
Hats are necessary.
Gotcha.
And stylish.
Well, I mean, the goggles are certainly important. I guess even while you're in your true form, if you're gonna be flying, you don't want anything in your eyes, right? So
exactly.
Yeah.
And they're cool and steampunky. I'm all for that.
Yeah, makes sense.
I like cool and steampunky.
Yes, you do. Or rather, I'm not about to argue the point. Oh, Lickygawk is temporarily back.
Oh.
We shall rejoice. Yay!
Welcome back, Lickygawk. We missed you.
My sleeve got caught. All right.
Oh.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
It's fine.
Perfectly fine.
Perfectly
fine. Green fine.
I don't think there's something better than green fine, but it's like, no, green fine is about as good as you're going to get.
So yellow fine?
Well, yellow fine means worse, technically, right?
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, massive combat on the moon.
I want to go fight on the moon.
Well, I mean, if you ask Mal very, very nicely, maybe that is something that eventually can come up.
I'm just teasing. Whatever Mal comes up with is good enough for me. Although fighting on the moon is pretty cool. Yeah. Not gonna lie.
Though I have to be fair, like whenever I hear of like combats on the moon, like my brain goes to Final Fantasy.
Yeah, that's legit.
Yeah. Oh, there was also that horror game that was set on the moon, right? Echo Night Beyond, I think it's called.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Is that a game that you could stream?
It's a PlayStation
yeah,
2
yeah,
game,
I
so yeah, we
could.
should be able to. It's actually funnily enough, is it a From Software game?
Yes.
Yes, it's before their Dark Souls days, obviously, because PlayStation 2. But it's a game themed around like you can't fight the ghosts. Like you can only run from them or appease them by resolving their past traumas or whatever caused them to die. And the idea is that you're trying to find your wife on a space station where everyone appears to be dead.
Oh,
And it's all
Except for
ghosty
the
haunty.
android.
I'm sorry, what, Mel?
Except for the android.
Yes, except for the robot,
I see.
because robots survive everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you live in the aliens universe. In which case,
Well,
if you're an alien, you gonna. I mean, an android, you gonna die.
well, I would say that's more a case of like if it's any robot that suffers amount of grievous body harm, yes, will cease functions or die, depending on the level of sentience you want to assign to the robot. But I guess the idea is like there's kind of like that, it's kind of like that kind of functional not mortality, immortality, where it's like as you're not acted on by an outside force, you'll just kind of keep going. Or do the androids in the Alien franchise, do they like run out of batteries or something? The only thing I remember is they have like this white goo blood
Yeah,
in
no, they're
quotes.
just they're very sneaky and slimy, and they're very vulnerable to being attacked by the aliens.
The only thing I
Wasn't the
remember
one
about
that
the alien, sorry, about the androids is, but one of them is Michael Fassbender in the recent movies.
And the classic ones are Lance Henriksen
Hmm.
and Ian Holm,
Okay.
which
in
is
one of
really cool.
the recent shorts, they had a android who was beginning to run down at the end of her life cycle.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That was actually like I remember like I will admit I'm not a big fan of the Alien franchise, and not for like I think it's just one of those things that I'm not a big fan of horror, so it just didn't click with me. But when there was it for an anniversary? But like for some reason, the company that owns Aliens, I forget which company it is, they commissioned like about a series of like 5 or 6 like shorts that went to YouTube. Those were really interesting.
I don't think I've seen those.
You haven't? Oh, they were good. Like there was like one about a couple of coworkers trying to survive like in like a settlement that was having like an alien attack, and there was oh, my brain is like not telling, like it was one of those things where it's like these were really good, but I can't describe any of them or what the plots were because they were all like little like they were shorts in the style of like Love, Death and Robots, like they were like at most like 15 minutes type of thing.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I know that in Alien Isolation, the game, there are other androids that were by a competing company from the main one that become that are villains in the game. So they're really creepy.
Because it's like it's what Weyland Yutani is like the major like
Wait,
corporate.
yeah, Wayland Yutani is the major one. I forget what the competitor's name is, but they make but the space station that Alien Isolation is set on has the competitor
Okay.
androids, and they are super creepy and super scary.
Yeah.
Which indeed are one of the things that would make me scream like a little griffin.
Well, I think what I liked about some of those shorts is that they weren't necessarily horror. And I mean, in fairness, like to the Alien franchise, like the first movie was horror, and I think other ones aimed at that as well. But like the second movie was very much not horror, from what I recall. That was the James Cameron one, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're kind of horror sci-fi,
Hmm.
like they're or arguably sci-fi with aspects of horror to them.
Hmm.
I guess it depends on which way your interpretation of them leans.
Yeah. Likigog has suggested that they weren't shorts, but more vignettes. But honestly, if you asked me to like tell the difference between a short and a vignette, I would be like, They are the same picture. I'm sure there is like a legitimate like if you look it up you can find like the idea of like a like with like literary terms like a novel versus a novella like those are two distinct terms and if you ask me why I'm like I don't know what they are but I just know they are but
A novella is legitimately just a short novel.
mm-hmm. But like say for instance like with a lot of anime there's also light novels which is that meant to be in a novella or just a different word for it or is it just to represent book with pictures sometimes because I mean like
that's a specific thing with Japanese language is that the way that their literature is written is actually really complex and dense and uses a lot of kanji, which if you don't know, like kanji being kanji, if you don't know what the specific kanji means, you don't know how to translate it. It's not like
like it's more I won't say pictogram, but they convey concepts and they can convey multiple concepts based on the usage in which they're used or the metaphor they're being used to invoke or whatever. Like I understand like in some respects like there's a whole like linguistic study by itself of just kanji.
If you've ever seen Japanese writing in certain situations will have like the little like subset writing under some words. And I think that's supposed to be translating particular kanji in a certain way.
Yeah, like it's the intended hiragana read or something like that.
What a light novel is that a light novel avoids the use of kanji almost entirely. And it's written in very plainly and very simply.
So it's meant to be like instead of like I want to say like I don't want to call it like high art versus low art, but like it's meant to be very consumable art. Like it's not meant to be a project unto itself to
it's meant to be approachable.
Yeah.
It's meant to be approachable, which is why Familiar says that it's time for food now.
Oh, Familiar.
Oh.
I mean, if you want to go, you want to see if Familiar wants to introduce herself to the group.
No, that's all right. She just bit me.
Oh. What a loyal Familiar! Please come and introduce yourself. No, bite.
It's what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aww.
Jeez, why are you fighting so much?
Why aren't you muting yourself before you go?
You want to be an internet sensation? All you have to do is meow. Come on. Come on. No?
She's not having it.
No, she's not having it at all.
No. Oddly enough, she's purring.
Aww.
Well, at least she's
despite how much she did not want to be picked up.
Aww.
Yep.
Maybe she thinks if you're picking her up, she'll get fed faster. So she's like, yes, I agree to this. Purr, purr, purr.
Right, I'll be right back.
Okay.
I wonder if those alien, like, I'm just gonna check quickly if those alien shorts are like still posted because I think they were like for a celebration of like a certain amount of anniversary or here we go. It was their 40th anniversary. That's why they did them all.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And I think there was like some live action and there was some animated ones. Like it was it kind of like like the Enter the Matrix or like Love, Death and Robots where they're like all very self-contained.
Okay, yeah. The Matrix shorts were so good.
It was one of those ones where I found it, I don't want to say hit and miss, but I think the idea is like with a lot of these shorts is the idea is that one of them is hopefully going to like really like stick with you and resonate with you. And then some other ones might be like, oh, these are good. I enjoy them. But then there's like, I find like there was like one or two where it's just like, this was not for me. This was not one that it wasn't meant to, it didn't strike a chord with me. And I don't think I was the one intended to get something like that. Cause I found that was very much the case. Like kind of my frustration with Love, Death and Robot season 2 is that I felt like it was very samey throughout that season, where I found season 1 was more polarizing, where it's like there were some I really, really liked, and there were some I'm like, I do not care for it. I don't like it. And I mean, I like that because there was just some I just more connected with. But then I found with season 2, they were all just like, they're fine. Again, like none of like the really like, I really like this one, but just, eh.
Fair.
I mean, you can have
Yeah.
your own read, obviously. If your opinion is different, then of course, please say so.
Oh yeah, no, it's all good.
I am many things, but the arbiter of taste is not one of them.
I do tend to. I try to give things more of a chance than, especially if it's like a short. But
Yeah.
sometimes I just take some time to process things as well. So
Yeah, and I agree. Like sometimes, like some things work on the second reading more than the first, or at least. And I know sometimes it's whatever you bring into it. Like I know there's a few things where I would watch and be like, maybe I've had a personal experience that it speaks differently than what this person's going through, or like stuff like that. Like it's words. I'll get there one day, but I get what you're saying. Like a lot of times with media, there's also what you bring with you, I guess is maybe the idea I'm going for. Like if you've had a certain experience or trauma or something, like even if it's, a wonderful story, if you've got a phobia with spiders, you're not watching that spider movie.
yeah, that's totally fair.
I'm oversimplifying when I'm talking about spiders.
Yep, no, spiders aren't for everybody.
I feel like that's a very, I don't want to say a common phobia, but I feel like that's one it's getting more attention. Because wasn't there that game recently that had the spider slider? Where you could make it the spider look less like a spider, so you could, a person with that phobia could play the game and not see the spider go, no, shut off.
Yeah, I watched a whole video about it. It was pretty interesting.
No, I do like that the advancement of technology, the advancement of all that stuff has allowed greater, because say for instance, back in the days of the NES, if you wanted to, say for instance, play Tetris, you had to be able to play it with a controller in the way made by the developers, and they couldn't make alternate control schemes or whatever, just because processing power what it is, it's just not possible. Like you can only make the game to play one way, whereas now you get a lot, like even indie developers now are able to do like really inclusive and accommodating things, and it's because the technology is advanced so much to the point that it's not, I don't want to say it's overly onerous, but it's easy. And I think also part of it is people being able to speak up, especially I know a big thing for a longest time was people with different color blindnesses being unable to play certain puzzle games or being unable to interact with certain game puzzles, because it's like if you can't tell the difference between red and green, you're screwed on this puzzle unless you get someone without that condition to help you, or say for instance look on an FAQ or something like that. But the FAQ, if it assumes again normal vision, it's not going to provide it's just going to hit the red switch, and it's like, well, which one's the red switch? There's 5 of them here, right? And they all look red to me.
Yeah, for sure. An interesting part of the video I do remember is that unfortunately some of those accessibility options can come at the expense of some of the game functionality. Instead of doing this animation, you can give them this option.
Yeah.
So it's companies then have to balance what do they want to give up to make the game more accessible in terms of graphics and whatnot.
Certainly with indie studios, I'm very sympathetic to that, but I'll be somewhat blunt. When you've got a company like EA or Ubisoft saying inclusion is too hard, it's like you guys basically have licenses to print money in some respects. You can add whatever time you need to on a game to some degree if you really, really want to. You can make this stuff happen. Because I remember it was years ago when Ubisoft tried to be like, oh, it's too hard to make a female playable protagonist in Assassin's Creed. And people are like, bullshit. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
you've just made the decision not to for whatever reason. And to some degree, when I hear like, when Ubisoft is like, oh, we couldn't make better subtitles for our game because it just wasn't programmable, and it's like, no, just you decided it wasn't worth it, and when you got caught on it, you just made up an excuse. If that
Oh,
makes
yeah.
any sense. Whereas like, yeah, if an indie comes forward and it's like, yeah, we're limited on the types of text we can use, it's like, yeah, that makes sense. They got, especially when like for like an indie studio, like you kind of do sometimes run up against a deadline of like publish or perish, as much as I hate to say it, like that idea of like the studio only has so much money to run and either needs to take in an investor or new funds or release the game and receive funds, hopefully from people buying the game, in order to
Mm-hmm.
sustain function.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
the one person here who's actually worked in game development,
Fair enough. Yeah, if you got a perspective, Al.
Yeah.
I honestly think that while there are certain accessibility issues that you can't, that you simply can't accommodate for,
Okay.
like 99.9% of games are not going to be able to be played by the blind, for example.
Yeah.
But like things such as motor impairments are very easy to handle by just instituting easy modes or things like easy mode. But even then, like I feel like an easy mode is probably not what we should be calling it.
Like an accessibility mode or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even that, I feel, kind of puts an uncomfortable spotlight on it.
Yeah, you're right. No, I see what you're saying, because like if you got some people will say, like someone like, say for instance, a person like me who is, I don't have any visible disabilities, but I may prefer an easy mode because maybe the game has a frustrating mechanic for whatever reason that I have trouble engaging with, or just like, especially to say, like sometimes it's like I don't have time to be challenged by a game, but I want to engage with it and I want to see the story, so I might pick easy mode for just being able to experience it, get through those moments.
Well, even that, even like a narrative mode like that is not what I mean. I mean, imagine if instead of having, like, for example, Dark Souls, people have been bitching about a Dark Souls easy mode for ages, right?
Yeah.
And the existence, non-existence thereof. What if, for people who are motor impaired, you had a Dark Souls game where it wasn't necessarily easier? Health, damage, all these things, and the puzzle solving exploration aspects, all these things stay the same.
Okay.
But you double the frames for every animation.
Oh.
To give the user more time to react. That wouldn't be an easy mode. In fact, it would be a very different way of playing the game. But it would give people with motor impairments more ability to enjoy the game.
But I will say, like, in fairness, like I know something like a game's difficulty is one of the hardest things to, I don't want to say make accessible, but like to tweak in some respects, because making a balanced game on a difficulty, just one difficulty, can be a challenge in and of itself. Like in terms of balancing weapon strength, or how many frames should a roll be? Should there be invincibility frames within that roll? And like things like that. Like those are like there's entire university degrees basically dedicated probably to that type of discussion in terms of like how those things work.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just looking over here. I'm on the Wikipedia entry for game accessibility.
Okay.
And like the main three categories are sensory impairment.
Yeah.
Which is
can't hear, can't see.
That's the one category in which I but I do agree with Sasha in that regard, because the need to have color blindness modes really limits the palette of colors that can be used to artistically represent things in your UI or your game. The reason why every shooter ever is always red versus blue. Hello?
Yeah, we're listening.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Which is unfortunate, but so it goes. And then there's motor impairment, and the other thing is cognitive impairment, which is like, for example, you can't have a lot of text flashing on the screen really quickly if your audience has
dyslexia or
dyslexia or ataxia or anything like that, which requires a lot of split-second reading. To say nothing of just people with learning disabilities in general who who are probably able to puzzle out a great deal of things given enough time and low enough stakes that they're not under any sort of time restriction, but definitely couldn't play something like, say, something with that requires code breaking skills, for example.
Sorry, what do you mean by code
Although
breaking?
I could be puzzles that involve heavy use of. But even then, I don't know. I could be talking entirely out of my ass on this.
You mean like I don't want to say like a cipher, but like something like the idea of figure out the password based on these.
I'm trying to think of a way to explain this. Okay, you know the classic blocks you can push but can't pull?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And how you can actually make very complex puzzles based solely on that set of parameters.
Yes.
But then there's also puzzles that have depth that isn't described by that. For example, word puzzles or puzzles that involve complex math. Or involve having to test and feel out relationships between things that appear initially unconnected.
Yeah. Like I was thinking back to, because I recently watched you playing through Resident Evil 8, Mal, and I remember we went to, Flora's here. Hello, Flora. Welcome to the cursed stream, Flora.
Hi, Flora.
There was a puzzle focused around a piano, and there was very much that initial sense of, oh God, neither of us know music theory enough to be able to let's just start pushing keys and see what happens. And thankfully there's a thing within it that kind of tells you where you're hitting your notes. So even if you don't know music theory, you can still brute force your way through the puzzle without too much difficulty.
Also don't have to play the entire piece of music all at once. As soon as you hit a note, it lets you hit every key.
Yeah, you don't have to get it in one
what
run.
The next note is.
Yeah. But I guess what I mean to say is I'm reminded of years ago, wasn't there a piano puzzle in one of the Silent Hill games, and that one did kind of rely a little bit on a certain amount of knowledge, or at least a very obtuse set of knowledge that just I remember a lot of playthroughs ground to a halt because time to figure out that piano puzzle. Good luck with that.
Also in Resident Evil, there have been piano puzzles.
Other piano puzzles, fair enough, yeah.
Well, these are both specific ones that involve hitting, interacting with puzzles and hitting keys. I know there is the puzzle in Resident Evil 1 that just involves having the right character in the piano room to play music at a certain time.
Yeah. We'll give you a full rundown, Flora, of everything that happened. But long story short, we could not play Civ 5 for more than 2 minutes before the internet connection, including our connection to Twitch itself, decided no, no, no. Hooray.
Just looking at it here. So there are games that are strictly audio based, intended to be played by people who are blind.
Was there recently that one with the mouse?
Pardon?
I recall recently there was a game that came out, and maybe it was more of a tech demo, but it was like with a mouse, like a little mouse creature, like a little friend that would the mouse was, I think, deaf or one thing, but it communicated only through verbal signals. And there were specific ways that you could like kind of create, like when you were creating sounds, it created a visual representation in order to reveal more of the world. I think I might be completely misremembering.
No idea.
Okay.
Okay, so there's also there's a bunch of resources here for people for game accessibility, for people who want to look into it. I might just throw that down in the.
Yeah. I did just do a quick search. There is a game based on what I was just saying. It's called Moss.
Okay.
Oh, Nightbot said no, you don't get to post that link.
Well.
Whoops. Maybe post it on Twitter or something later.
Maybe. But yeah, and then there's like also strategies that people use, or rather people can use, to make up for sensory disabilities in other ways, like having things that are making noise actually bouncing or vibrating within the interface.
Like in the UI and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember reading, or was it bugger? Like I remember reading like some people, like some articles talking about like the advent of like games being able to really handle the addition of voice acting was really like a really big thing for people to open up RPGs to people with like different reading challenges or disabilities. So the idea was is like I don't have to rely on the words on the screen anymore. They can just talk and I can follow that. That doesn't trigger the same difficulties. Okay, so Flora says she can make a safe list for people who want to post links. So maybe that's something we can enable. Not right now. We can do it later.
Yeah. We also have to make mods.
Yes. Yeah, clearly. Oh, yes. That was another thing you missed, Sasha. Or not Sasha. Sasha's here with me. Flora, that you missed during the beginning of our curse stream. There was a stream of like, was it like 7 or 8 bots all at once putting that stupid like follower, like get followers, get big views, and all that crap. Like it was just boom all at once.
Yeah.
Luckily, they haven't been back since. Good.
Yep. Thank goodness.
Yeah, I know, really.
You did say you banned them all, though. So.
I banned them all, yes. Which does seem to have the nice side effect that as soon as they're banned, their comments get lost. But it's definitely something to like it, to kind of, having something moderated or someone appointed to do that. So, because like say for instance, my ability to really interact kind of like tanks when I have to like stop everything, ban, and search through and find all of them. And they were all kind of grouped up together, so it worked out. But anyways, how did the secret mission go, Flora? Were you successful? Are you tired? I realize it's going to be a while before Flora responds because of the Twitch delays. Because like, isn't Twitch 20 seconds behind? Like, what gets broadcast is 20 seconds behind what we're doing.
I don't think it's that much.
You don't think it's that much? You think it's
I don't
less?
think it's that much, but it's close.
Oh, Flora is so tired.
Oh, I bet. Oh, 4.5 hours. Yeah, that's. Oh, I hope you got some
Yeah.
good rest breaks in there.
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, the biggest one I've done is 3 hours, and that like even then I was taking breaks halfway through.
Oh, I've done up to 5 hours before. It's not bad if you just get out and stretch every once in a while, you know, just pick a park roadside or something and just
Yeah, like
stretch for a few minutes.
like that's I find sometimes not so much the issue. Like I find sometimes it's just also like at least I find for me like there's a certain amount of like focus that you have to be maintaining, I guess, when you're driving. Because obviously you don't want to hit anything.
Yeah.
But yeah. Are you gonna break?
I think that's why you strategically bring somebody along who can talk your ear off and poke you if you look like you're drowsy.
Thankfully, I've never had that problem. Like, I've been tired while driving, but I've never, like, struggled to stay awake while driving. Thankfully, I've never had that issue. But I think also, like, I've known better than trying to be like, oh, I only got 2 hours sleep, time to do a 4-hour drive. Like, I've never attempted that, and nor do I have any intention of doing so.
That's fair.
We appreciated all the photos you posted, Flora, of your secret mission.
Yeah. Super top secret Flora mission.
Yeah.
Bork, bork, bork.
Alrighty. Well, we're coming up on 9:30. Did we want to? I mean, I'm sure we can find more topics to discuss if we wanted to, but given everything that happened, I think despite everything that happened, calling it a day at a 2.5 hour stream is nothing to be ashamed of, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right. Well, I mean, certainly for anyone who's here, who's watching, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for joining in right towards the end, Flora, for letting us know you've made it return safely at the very least.
Yes, yes.
I mean, I think at this point it's just been pretty much a chill stream. Sasha's streaming tomorrow. She's gonna be playing Stellaris, so yeah, Stellaris.
Yep.
I think starting at 3, you plan?
3 to 5
Yeah, 3 to
EST.
5. Okay. Yep.
Wow.
Ah. Wow.
Or EDT.
And Tuesday is gonna be back to Mal. He's gonna be playing. As far as I know, you're still playing Magic, Mal?
Yeah, probably still Magic.
Okay. And then Wednesday, Flora, who's hanging out in chat, will still be playing Dark Souls, I believe, the Daughters of Ashmod. And then cycle right back around to the weekend. So Friday, I'll be streaming again as usual.
Nope.
What?
Yep.
Oh, yep. Okay.
Nope.
So I thought you said no. Like I got something wrong. And then Saturday.
No, on Wednesday night I'm going to be streaming my game with Emerald Storyteller and a few other VTubers.
You are correct. I forgot that. So yes, Mal will be. I guess you can put a link out for that at some point for where you'll be. Or which.
No, I'm going to stream it on this channel.
Oh, okay, okay. Sorry, my mistake. So yeah.
So you can come watch it here.
Awesome, great.
Yeah.
And then Saturday will be our celebration of reaching affiliate status, which is super awesome. The intention is to play Phasmophobia, but based on what happened today, we're going to do some experimenting to make sure that is actually completely doable and does not break everything again.
Yeah.
Yay!
Go team, go!
Yeah. Go Team Discovery Channel. Anyways, so
Yeah.
yes, I think that's everything. Certainly we've got the bot's been posting our links to our Twitters. There's also a Discord, which I will just ping right here. There we go. For anyone here who wants to join our Discord server. There's also a YouTube channel now. I don't know if that Nightbot has ping for YouTube. If not, but I think it's just the Dungeon Lounge again for the YouTube channel name. Mal, you can confirm or deny that. Mal?
Sorry, what's that?
The YouTube channel. Oh, there we go.
What about it?
Oh, I didn't know if the Nightbot had the ability to link it, but it does. Hooray!
Hey.
And yeah, and then I think that covers everything. I think that's everything list, and then I think we'll just call it from here. I don't think there's. Anyways, so yes. So yes, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Our apologies for everything that happened at the beginning there. We're gonna figure this out slowly but surely, but thank you for sticking with us regardless. And yeah, everyone have a great evening. I hope this chill stream was enjoyable at the very least. Lots of discussion.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks
night,
for
everyone.
watching.
Yeah, take care, everyone.
Night, everyone.